Guys, here is a quick demonstration of the communication model. And this is the first page in your workbook, but I'm super excited about it because this is something that you will use quite frequently or that you use every single day. Okay, so the communication model. With the communication model, you always have a sender. And so that's her. Hi. Okay, so we have the sender. So this is the person who is communicating the message. So if you are in a classroom and your professor is talking to the entire class, the professor is a sender in that situation. But then you have this person who comes over here. This is the receiver. So this is in the classroom scenario. This is a student. Say hello, student. So professor, student. So in this particular communication model, you are, as a professor, or the professor will send the student, I know that looks like the Amazon symbol. Anyway, the student, a message like, hello class, I'm so excited that you're here. So I am going to, so since they actually are sending the message, this person is the receiver of the message. This person is the sender of the message. So let's make that a little bit smaller so it is easy to digest. And, okay, maybe a 10, maybe a 10. All right, so we have the sender and we also have the receiver. This invisible arrow that happens whenever a message is sent from the sender to the receiver, that is a channel, guys. So the channel is basically how the message gets from one place to another. So if you are talking to a group of people and you want to tell them something, then you are going to send them a message by speaking with them or by sending them an email. This can also take place in an email or text message or whatever as well. So that is a channel. It can be in person, it can be electronic, it can be almost anything, but a channel is the way in which the sender sends a message to the receiver. So you have the person who is communicating and the person who receives the communication. So let's go on. So when the receiver receives it, this sender wants to make sure that their message was perceived correctly or was interpreted correctly. So if this person said, hey, we're having a test today, and this person doesn't quite understand, oh, test, what does that mean? Then that message was not sent correctly. So in that instance, or if they receive that message correctly, then that means that they're going to get their stuff out and start studying while the professor gives them time in class to study for the exam. So if they start studying and maybe they ask questions during that study session, another channel takes place. So I am putting channel up here as well. So another channel takes place because the receiver is sending a message back to the sender. All right, guys. So it's basically a cycle. It happens over and over and over. So the sender sends something to the receiver, then the sender sends something back, then the receiver sends something back to the sender, and that is the communication model. These are the terms that you will need to know. Sender, message, channel, receiver. Receiver, channel, sender. So that is a cycle. However, let me introduce Mr. Noise. So say if someone is playing their headphones very, very loudly, then this presents a problem because you can't really understand what the professor is talking about. So maybe they say, oh, well, we have a test coming up, and maybe because this person is talking loudly or this person who is not really paying attention is listening to their headphones and they're listening to a really good song right now, then this is noise. Noise, noise. So with the noise, that can interfere. Let's see if we can make this a little bit larger. There we are. That can interfere with the message getting from the sender to the receiver or from the receiver to the sender. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as you are preparing for this example on page 15 in your workbook, because, and if you have any questions about the workbook, please let me know, because this is something that you guys will encounter. So let's look at the workbook very quickly. Hopefully I have it up in the page that is behind this page. Let's see. Workbook. Okay, let me see. I know I have it up in Acrobat. Okay, so there we go. This is the communication model exercise. So Nathan and Malcolm are waiting in line for a movie. So you either Nathan will be the sender or Malcolm will be the sender, one of them, but just keep that in mind. Nathan realizes that he has forgotten his wallet, y'all, and decides he needs to go to his car to retrieve it. I hope it isn't dark outside, but nevertheless, because of the chatter of the gathered crowd, Nathan has to lean in close and yell in Malcolm's ear that he will be right back. Malcolm nods and Nathan is off. So in this instance, and I'll help you guys with this one, in this instance, Nathan is the sender. Malcolm is the receiver. Nathan tells Malcolm that he left his wallet in the car. Malcolm gets the message. If Malcolm nods, then that means that Malcolm received the message effectively and doesn't, go into a panic whenever Nathan leaves to go to the car. So that is, you can either draw it, you can, and I ask you guys to be creative with this process. If you're creative with it, that lets me know that you're understanding it. You might want to draw clothes on the people. You might want to draw, they are talking about something specifically, but be creative with the model exercises. Let's go on to the second one. Buffy and Summer are planning a trip to Houston to help out with a charity toy drive. Summer notices that the flight they are supposed to take leaves an hour later than they originally thought. Yeah, that happens often in Houston, but whatever. She thinks about calling Buffy, but remembers she's at work, so she sends her a text message. So there are various situations that can result in an error for number 2. So that can have a lot of interference with the noise, especially if the text message doesn't send, because cell phone service in Houston can be spotty. But be creative with this communication process. Draw it out. Make sure that you know, or that I know that you understand it. And if you have any questions about this, please let me know. This is page 15 of your workbook, the communication model exercise, and I am Dr. Jennifer Edwards, and just send me a message at drjtedwards on Twitter, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day, everyone.